Good morning, this is the Breville Barista Express BES870 that I'm selling. As you saw in the photos, it's in good condition. Obviously it's a used machine, so you will see the normal wear and tear, which is usually around the front. Couple of nicks here and here. But internally it's perfect. I just finished the service yesterday and there's no problems now. The only thing that it needed, this one for the service, is the grinder realignment. So the grind size was too large, so I just changed the internal mechanism. Other than that, now it's perfect. Full pressure, no problem. Very strong steam. Everything works fine. In this video, I'll be demonstrating that and also sort of teaching you how to make a coffee on these machines. So when you first turn it on, usually it would take about a minute to turn on. You'll see that it's on when you see the buttons light up. It's been on for about 2 minutes now, so it's ready to make a coffee, but it's recommended you warm up the machine before you make a coffee. So you can make a coffee right away, but it's recommended you warm it up first. How do you warm it up? You basically get your cup, you put the handle, it's empty of course, no coffee in the handle now. Press the double, it'll give you about 60 to 80 mils of water, hot water, and that's gonna warm up the portafilter, your cup, your group head. You can do that once or twice. It's up to you really. I'm going to be making a magic, which is a latte that's got less milk than normal. So it's basically a concentrated latte. Very nice drink. I'll put this on the side, or on top here. Take out the portafilter. Dry it thoroughly with a tissue. Your machine comes with 2 baskets, the single and the double. This is the double. And these are the pressurized baskets, the double wall baskets. They are, sorry about that, I think I have a cold. They are easier to use than the single wall baskets. And they require less fussing with the settings. But they have 2 advantages. One, they are harder to clean when you're finished. They're harder to knock off the basket. And 2, sometimes they give you too much crema, too much foam, because they're pressurizing all that coffee through a small hole in the basket. But that's fine, they can still make a good coffee. Usually they take about 70 grams of ground coffee. So I've got a scale here to measure the inputs and the outputs. You don't have to, absolutely not. You can eyeball it. You can just set the settings and forget. But just for your interest, I'm going to be measuring them. So we'll put this on 11 o'clock, grind size 6, 11 o'clock and single. Okay, that's my first dose. $7.5. That's fine. We'll increase it to 8 so we can get, 12 o'clock so we can get 8 or 8.5. I'm going to top it up. $8.2, perfect. So yeah, after your first dose, just lightly press with the tamper as I just did to make way for the next batch. And on the 12 o'clock setting, we got, what's that? About 9 grams. Okay, so I guess keep it on the 11 o'clock position and see how much you get. Yeah, that should give you about 16.5 grams, I guess. No, about 16 grams. This will give you 18 grams if you do it twice. So this is 9 grams, yeah. Yeah, that's fine, keep it here. Better to be a bit less than over, because with these baskets, when you go over 17, you'll start hitting the shower screen and you'll put stresses on your machine collar, you'll compress the coffee too much, and that won't result in a good coffee. Then after the second dose, grab the tamper, press it nice and firmly. And you'll notice that the depth is about this much with 17 grams, which correlates well with this silver part. So when you have the correct amount of coffee, the silver part should disappear, just like that. Make sure it's even, flat, clean the edges if it's dirty. Lock it in just in the middle position. You don't have to go all the way to the right, that's too much pressure. But if it does ever slip as you're brewing the coffee, slip to the left, that's when you want to turn it a bit more to the right. I don't think it will slip today or anytime soon. Okay, so that's so if you're wondering the grind size Y6, I just had a feel, and it's approximately the correct grind size for espresso, maybe a bit coarser, and that's fine because this is a double wall basket. With a double wall basket, you don't have to be exact with the amount. You don't have to be exact with the grind size or the tamping technique, etc. Even though I did a good job here. So if it's a bit larger or a bit finer, it will still make a coffee. So the grind size, if you go finer, it will slow down the extraction because the coffee grounds are very fine, they're very compacted together, densely compacted together, and the water struggles to go through. When you go coarser, so larger in number, the particles get bigger, there's more gaps between the coffee grounds, and the water will just find its way easier through the coffee. So I will try it at 6. I've never made a coffee on this machine, so we'll see what happens now. But I suspect that it should be fine. If it flows too fast, then I would advise you to go 1 or 2 numbers finer next time. If it goes too slow, maybe try 2 numbers larger to speed it up, and then vice versa. Yeah, I'll get rid of this coffee. If you like to add sugars or syrups, add them now, before you brew the espresso, so that they can mix nicely with the espresso. The buttons are also programmable, so you can change them to whatever length you'd like, between 20 to 200 mils, I think. I'll aim for, what's double of 17? 34. I'll aim for 30 to 35. And I can see that just based on the height and based on experience. So to program a button, have the coffee ground, handle locked in, then press the program, press the button you want to program, and it'll make a coffee, and then stop it when you're happy with the volume. I'm also timing it. We should be getting a 35 gram shot in hopefully 20 to 30 seconds. And that's 20 seconds. So we've got 20 seconds, about 12 o'clock pressure, which is very good. And how much did we get? 25. Okay, we could have let it go for a bit longer, to like 30 or 35. I must have miscalculated, but that's still fine. It's a concentrated espresso, which is good for our magic. So this will give you 25 grams of coffee. You may or may not like that. You can always reset by holding program, or you can reprogram it by pressing program and then the button you want to program. Only do this with coffee in the handle, otherwise it will give you water volume instead of coffee volume, and that will be a bit different. Very different, actually. See, it's a bit harder to clean. That's fine. Give it a flush. Just getting some milk. Okay, so using full cream milk, about halfway through my jug here. I've got a small jug to do the magic coffees rather than the normal size jug. Yep, so just press the single or double button to flush. It's going to clean your basket, your shower screen, even clean a bit over your valve, the overpressure valve. So it's good practice. Right. Next is steaming the milk. So turn on the steamer. It'll take about 15 seconds for it to start steaming properly. When you hear the pump pulsating, that's usually full pressure. You just have to learn the technique if this is your first coffee machine. Shouldn't be too difficult. But basically, turn off the wand. You have 5 seconds to position yourself before the machine changes its mind. Turn it back on. Keep the wand at an angle. Keep it spinning. So I mean, keep the milk spinning and keep the tip close to the milk for the first 10 seconds. When you're hearing this hissing sound, that means you're injecting air into the milk. So I'm going to hold that for 10 seconds, and after that I'm going to raise the jug. We don't want to inject too much air, so we don't want to hear that hissing sound for more than 10 seconds. Otherwise we'll get too bubbly of a texture, which is not good for a latte or a magic. It's good for a cappuccino if you want a lot of foam. You keep doing that position, so close to the surface, for 20 seconds instead of 10. And then now it's just spinning. The wand is deeper into the milk, no longer injecting air, just spinning, and when it's too hot to the touch, turn it off. Very important, give it a purge. This will clean the insides of any milk. And then grab a wet towel. So after you stop the milk steaming, 5 seconds later, the machine will auto cool down. It'll go back to espresso mode. You see the buttons light up, and now you're ready to make another coffee if you want. You can just turn it off, it's still fine. So it's very, very smart. Yeah, so when you clean the tip, make sure you clean the back, the front. Sometimes it goes all the way up to here. So just wipe it thoroughly, and the machine will be happy and last you many years. We may have overdone the milk in terms of the texture. Looks a little bit too thick, but that's fine. I'm not very good with multitasking, you know, talking to the camera and steaming the milk. Yeah, I've done this so many times, but that's fine. So when you're done, just knock the jug on the counter to break any big air bubbles, and keep swirling it up to mix it up, give it that smooth texture. And when it's similar to like wet paint on the surface, that's when you're pretty much ready to pour it. So it might come out perfect. It might need a bit of movement. But yeah, it looks good now. There we go. Very silly shaped heart, but I'm sure you can do better latte art if you do some practice and or if you're a barista already. Yeah, that's the Barista Express. Making a latte. Hope you enjoy. Looks really good. I'm looking forward to it. Hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate. Just let me know, and I'm happy to help. And yeah, thanks again. See you soon.